What's the story, Smackdown fans? Tonight's topics on the Wrestle Story are a new Smackdown Tag Team Championship team
has been crowned. You didn't finish your sentence there.
Oh, sorry, man.
Has been crowned.
Well, I figured just saying a new Smackdown Championship team was good.
Lacey Evans strikes again.
Kofi's WWE Championship celebration.
All that and more on tonight's Wrestle Story.
Welcome back to the Wrestle Story, where we discuss all things wrestling, the legends of the past, the superstars of the present, and the trailblazers of the future. We stream every Monday night after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, and after every pay-per-view. And tonight, we're going to talk about SmackDown Live.
We are. Tonight is Tuesday. Overall, really good SmackDown, actually. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I didn't think it was too bad.
I didn't either.
There's some things that don't make a lot of sense to me, other than just for the whole point of the superstar shakeup next week.
Agreed. I will agree with that statement. I still don't understand why we had everything happen with the bar yesterday. I guess it makes a little more sense tonight leading into it, but it still does not make a lot of sense at all.
I thought with tonight, I thought that it was going to be kind of starting to give Drew McIntyre a push.
Nope.
And then with the way the match went, outside of, the Superstar shakeup, I don't know really what the point was.
I don't either. I think it's just to kind of foreshadow that he might be moved to SmackDown.
That might be.
And become a challenger for Kofi.
It could be.
Instead of Seth Rollins. And then that means they would probably go through with putting Baron Corbin against Seth Rollins, which would suck.
Yeah, that might be what happens. Could be.
I don't want to see that. So, with that being said, the show opened with Kofi and the rest of the members of New Day to have their WWE Championship celebration. Biggie gets on the mic first and talks about everything that Kofi has done to get to this point. Xavier Woods then talks about how last night Kofi tried to make history once again, and then it was ruined by the bar. Then they go on to say, but tonight we're here to celebrate the career of Kofi. They both Xavier Woods and Big E get on the mic and they say some kind words about Kofi and, when they met him and stuff. And then Kofi gets on the mic and says, you know what? None of this is supposed to happen at all. None of this was even, written out for me. None of this was supposed to happen. But here I am. And I'm the WWE champion now. And I'm grateful for it. Then he points out his family, which is in the crowd. His two sons got in the ring with him at WrestleMania, and he pointed them out, and then he pointed out his wife, and then the bar interrupts them. Woohoo! We are the bar. You can see that.
Which I didn't understand it, and then they brought out Drew McIntyre, so I thought maybe, they were going to kind of give Drew McIntyre a push here for the title.
Well, yeah, the bar came out, they talked about, how Kofi wouldn't have gotten the second championship if they hadn't. They said, you should be thanking us because we saved your butt from losing your championship.
Yeah.
So they started off with that, and then they said, why don't we have a 6-man tag match later? And then Big E goes, you two don't know how to do math because there's 3 of us and there's only 2 of you. So how is there a 6-man tag match? You obviously didn't finish school. And then he says, well, we made a friend on Raw. And you want to know who that friend is? And then Drew McIntyre's music hits. He comes out. They say, this is who our other partner is going to be. And that match will happen later in the evening. So then we go to the first match of the show. Lo and behold, another 6-man tag match. It is Aleister Black, Ricochet, and Ali versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, and Andrade. People on Twitter were like, so we're getting 2 of these 2 6-man tag matches tonight? And I commented on one of the posts. They said, it must be Vince's new favorite match idea because before it was gauntlet matches, he was doing one of those every week. And now it's 6-man tag matches. So, it's just Vince's flavor of the week, He likes to dip his toes into some crazy things.
Yeah, I don't understand, the 6-man tag matches. There's a lot of things that they do right now that I don't totally understand. By the way, I am checking out. I have Live 205 on our TV, and I'm watching Humberto Carrillo versus Gentleman Jack Gallagher with Drew Gulak, and apparently Drew Gulak and Gentleman Jack Gallagher were like together. Well, apparently they're not anymore. So
yeah, that's happening on the TV. And now there's Buddy Murphy. Speaking of Buddy Murphy, actually, I thought it was very funny that Velveteen Dream actually called out Buddy Murphy on Twitter. He talked about how it was laughable that he lost his championship at WrestleMania, and he was kind of ripping on him for it. And so I'm wondering what is happening with that. If that's just Velveteen Dream being Velveteen Dream and putting himself out there, or if there is going to be a rivalry started where maybe
Buddy Murphy goes over to NXT,
or Velveteen Dream comes up. One of the two. I'd like to see Buddy Murphy moved in the Superstar Shakeup, if I'm being completely honest. I want him to go to Raw or SmackDown.
Definitely. So the Aleister Black Ricochet match ends with Ali, Ricochet, and Aleister Black getting the win.
I have it written down as Black, Rick, and Ali.
Yeah.
Just shortened it all down because they seem to like to do that to a lot of
Randy
people.
Orton comes out, does the RKO on Ali. Rusev steps up in the ring and like a tough guy and stands over Ali. And then he gets the RKO from
No,
Kevin.
he doesn't.
Oh, he gets the...
Stunner.
Stunner, sorry. From
You were reading your sentences backwards.
I know. From Kevin Owens.
He gets stunned. So does Kevin Owens have, like, permission from good old Stone Cold Steve Austin to be using that? Because that seems to be his new finisher move.
Well, the question is why is he following him out? I didn't understand. Again, there's stuff here that I don't understand.
Yeah,
Now,
I don't get why they brought Randy Orton and Kevin Owens out.
Maybe next week will make more sense.
I mean, maybe they're going to start a rivalry with them. I heard from under the grapevine that AJ Styles is hurt and he's injured at the moment, and so they might have had to scrap ideas for AJ Styles and Randy Orton going forward, and they're going to try and start something new with Kevin Owens instead, maybe. And maybe that's what that was. Just see kind of who can outshine each other.
I mean, it still doesn't make sense that he follows him out. I mean, I just don't understand.
I'm right there with you. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm just kind of thinking along the lines of...
I don't understand what's going on there with that. I didn't totally understand the Bar and Drew McIntyre thing at the beginning of the show.
I don't understand what the Bar even needed to get involved in the match last night was for. Like, I don't get why it was them. Why was it the Bar? Why couldn't it have been somebody else?
I don't know. No clue. So then we have the Usos backstage having an interview. Pretty simple, to the point.
Yeah, they're just talking about defending their titles later in the evening.
R-Truth and Carmella talk about WrestleMania.
Quite honestly, once again, I kind of don't get why you had them. I mean, I guess I get it, kind of leading back to the Samoa Joe R-Truth thing when he lost his U.S. Championship, but I don't understand why it was then, because they were like talking about Carmella.
Well, again, there's a lot of things that happen that I don't totally understand as to why they're going the way they're going, the route they're taking with some of these storylines. So anyway, Samoa Joe comes out and KOs R-Truth.
Yeah, he knocks him out.
Then Braun Strowman comes out and attacks Samoa Joe, so maybe there's
I'm going to assume that he's going to be moving to SmackDown.
I would assume so.
After what we're seeing tonight, and then he's going to start a feud with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is going to stay right where he is, and Braun Strowman's going to come over, and he's going to get a shot at the U.S. title, and he's going to win it.
Which, I mean, is a good idea if they're not going to have him as the main eventer, which I'm fine with, you know. When we sit here and we talk about not everybody can be the main event and all that stuff, so putting some of these, bigger dudes, in a position to be the mid-card guy that could be your upper card, your main eventers. I think doing it this way is a pretty good idea, and so having Braun Strowman going after Samoa Joe makes more sense than Braun Strowman going after Colin Jost and
Michael Che. I'm shocked I remembered his name.
Yeah.
Because I normally don't. I just call him the SNL guys.
So then the IIconics
have their first ever tag team championship match. They're defending their titles.
Again, if if the idea is to make your champions look good and strong,
well, I don't think that.
Why do you do the things they do?
I don't know. So they were against some locals. They were the Brooklyn Bells, I think.
Yeah, that's what they call them.
And it was like
they were like, oh,
Carissa
these
and somebody else. I don't even remember.
They're the Brooklyn champions or something.
Yeah, they're
like
undefeated. They're 45-0 or something like that.
They're the local champions or something is what they were kind of saying.
And I was like, good opponents for them. So then we go to, right before the match starts, we go backstage. They show a backstage thing where Paige is standing there kind of watching the match. Then the match goes on and then finishes with the IIconics retaining. And then we go back to the backstage segment with Paige, and she says, great job to the IIconics, but next week I'm going to bring a more credible team to fight them for their championships. So, who?
I said...
EO. No, you didn't. You didn't say that.
No, I said if they're going to go NXT UK, I thought Rhea Ripley and...
Piper Niven.
Piper Niven, yeah.
To me, that wouldn't really make a lot of sense, just due to the fact that they aren't... I mean, I get it. They're not attacked... Whoa, hold up right 1 second. 205 Live right now. Is this a rematch for the Cruiserweight Championship?
I don't know if it's a rematch, but they have both
Tony
Nese and Buddy Murphy are now getting in the ring on 205 Live.
We'll keep you updated.
I don't know if the title's on the line or if it's just a
Maybe
match.
They're going to put the title back on
Buddy Murphy. Might be. So anyway, the IIconics, again, I don't know why they had this match.
The tag team that I was thinking was the Sky Pirates, Io Shirai and Kairi Sane.
Yeah, that'd be a good
I
one.
think that would be most logical. Or, I know some people on Twitter were saying the Bella Twins.
I just thought the NXT UK would be a good one to go to since, Paige is from Britain.
Yeah.
So, anyway, IIconics win. Shocking.
I was excited for this match until they announced who their opponents were. I was like...
Yeah, it's kind of a week, like I said, it was a weak
boy.
match. Then we have Shane McMahon, comes out, talks about WrestleMania, beating The Miz, brings the announcer guy in that's supposed to talk about him being the world's greatest championship, whatever he's supposed to say. Says you're not doing it good enough, grabs him by the tie, the guy tries it several more times as they're walking up the ramp, and he continues to drag him up, and finally they get to the top of the ramp, and the guy does it, and he said, all right, that's good enough.
Now, I find it very funny that through this whole thing, the crowd was chanting CM Punk. This is a title match. This is a Cruiserweight Championship title match.
I had seen where they were going to have, or that there was rumors that CM Punk was going to show up at WrestleMania.
I didn't see rumors of CM Punk showing up at WrestleMania, but I heard that he might be coming back to WWE. That's all I saw.
See, so, I mean, obviously we both saw something, so whether there's anything truth to it, or if it's just rumors and someone threw it out there, and of course, fans,
blew it up out of proportion?
Yeah, and the way fans are, sometimes it seems that, and we'll talk about that at the end here, because just the way some fans are is, maybe they're not true fans, they're just, whiners.
I felt like this segment kind of dragged on for a long time. Like it could have been shorter. In my personal opinion.
It could have been shorter, no doubt about it. I think they could have ended it pretty quick. It's just, there really wasn't a lot that happened tonight. I mean, for the 2 hours, there really wasn't a whole lot that happened.
There really wasn't a lot that happened. Like I said, it was a good SmackDown for the most part. Like, there were a few matches. So it wasn't like it was a bad SmackDown, like the worst SmackDown I've ever seen.
There was a lot of talking.
But there was a lot of, promos and talking and stuff, which, But I just felt that this Shane McMahon segment kind of went on a little too long.
So then we have the Hardy Boys versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
Championships?
Championships. Jeez.
You can't talk today.
I can't read, apparently. The Hardys, solid match. Hardys end up getting the win, so you have new SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
I was not shocked by this. I said when the match started, I said that Hardys they're going to win the championships. First I said, why couldn't this have been the match we saw at WrestleMania, first off, for the SmackDown Tag Championships?
Well, it makes you wonder, are the Usos now going to go to Raw?
That is what I would assume. Just because I don't see why they would take the belts off of them. First off, it's suspicious that the belts are taken off of them 1 week before the Superstar shakeup. And second, I don't see a reason why they would take the belts off of them if they weren't going to be moving.
Yeah, that's what
I personally think they would do better on Raw than on SmackDown right now, because SmackDown is loaded with tag teams that are good, that are like the credible tag teams, and Raw has the Revival and AOP and Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins that are there like full time and that don't go between brands, because Aleister Black and Ricochet go between brands, but that might change after the shakeup.
Well, they'll still show Aleister Black and Ricochet as being NXT,
which I don't like. I don't get it.
I'm not sure what they're doing there.
So yeah, I'm thinking that they would do better on Raw than being on SmackDown, just because on SmackDown you have the New Day, you have Rusev and Nakamura, you have the Bar, you have, who else do you have? You have, like, all the decent tag teams on SmackDown. Put some of those guys on Raw, because they will do better, and they will help out the tag team division on Raw as a whole.
Yeah, I agree.
So, well, maybe instead of putting the belts on, I know we talked about this when Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins are going to lose their belts, because it won't be a long championship reign. What if they move the Usos over, and then the Usos end up winning the Raw belts, and you have the Hardys on SmackDown, and you have the Usos on Raw?
I was hoping that they would just, unify the Raw or the tag team titles anyway.
I think that would help, because I feel like they don't have enough tag teams.
In a way, I understand why they're not doing it, because
because they're going to Fox.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I'm sure that Fox is saying, hey, we want to have a champion on our, on our programming, so you got to keep your SmackDown titles, So yeah, that's the only reason I would keep at least the tag teams, because really there's not a lot of tag teams out there.
Yeah.
So while the Hardy Boys are kind of standing in the ring celebrating, Lars Sullivan comes out, and he comes out and makes the SmackDown Tag Team Champions look really good. He destroys them.
He makes them look absolutely great. Like, he came out and did circles around them. Like, amazingly great. They look like amazing champions.
Yeah.
Till he, laid waste to them.
Why do you do that to your just recently crowned SmackDown Tag Team Champions?
I don't have a clue.
I don't understand.
They're trying to get Lars... Well, I understand why. They're trying to get Lars Sullivan over big time.
Why do you do it to the Hardy Boys? I mean, you could have done it to someone else. You could have had him come out, attack the Bar and Drew McIntyre.
It wouldn't have made as much of an impact.
You could have had him attack, someone else. But
I
don't know the point of this.
I said what I said, and I put a tweet out. I said, Lars Sullivan just laid waste to the Hardys. I'm noticing a pattern, all right? 2 days in a row. He took out Kurt Angle last night, and he took out the Hardys today. Both are considered legends.
So he's going to become the legend killer.
Maybe that's where they're going with it.
Possible.
It'd be logical. I mean, it's what he's been doing the last 2 days that we've seen him.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where he'll get put. If he'll get put on Raw or SmackDown, or if he'll just keep going back and forth.
Maybe at least for now, maybe he'll go back and forth. And then at some point in time have a set place that he goes to. I'm
kind of curious. So next, we have the champ, the double champ, Becky Two Belts. She is on SmackDown tonight, and she comes out, and they show a recap of WrestleMania when she won the titles. And then she's about to get started on her promo, and her song ends. And then the crowd continues singing it, and she makes more comments about her song being great. And y'all have lovely voices. And so I find it very funny when she does that. And then she talks about how she beat both Charlotte and Ronnie to become the first ever women's double champ. The champ. And then she talks about how, yesterday on Raw she came to celebrate, but that didn't happen because Lacey Evans came out and punched her in the jaw. So she goes on to say, Lacey Evans finally decided to do something other than walk up and down the ramp. And she tried to make a statement, and you see how well that went. And then she, throws her mic down, gets out of the ring, walks up the ramp, standing there holding both belts at the very top. She turns around, and Lacey Evans hits her with a forearm to the face. Okay? They were calling it the women's right. It was not the women's right. It was a forearm. The women's right is supposed to be a punch. It was a forearm. Go back and watch it. It was a forearm. It was a very aggressive forearm. People ripped Lacey Evans apart on Twitter just because that punch yesterday didn't do anything to Becky. Like, she didn't sell it at all. And they were like, Lacey Evans' punch, like, it didn't do anything. So how can that even be, like, your finishing move? How can that even be something, like, credible? Because it did nothing.
Well, it's because it's the man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only reason I'd say is because it's the man. I mean, outside of that, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, I guess. I mean, I don't know. People try to make too big of a deal out of certain things.
I will straight up say, I think at the end of this segment, Becky looked mad. So I think this is going to be a good rivalry. I think it's going to be good. Lacey Evans has been on Twitter all day, roasting the crap out of Becky.
Here's what I will say.
And so I'm just waiting for Becky to come back with something good. I'm waiting for it, man.
She's done the social media thing right. I've seen her on the mic once or twice, and she's done solid on the mic. I would like to.
You've seen her on the mic where?
There's been a couple of videos, like, and I don't know if it was just someone filming her, or like WWE's like.
Oh, there was one where she talked about Vince at the Hall of Fame. I do know that.
Yeah, I've seen her a couple different times in different videos where she's talking, and it's like a spontaneous type, or at least it looks like a spontaneous type thing. And both times she's looked, pretty solid with what she's done with the promo.
Now it's a matter of what she can do in the ring.
Well, and that's where the key's going to be, and the key's going to be is how does she handle the mic when there's 20,000 people.
I'm expecting we see her come out next week.
People watching her
and like
in the arena.
I'm expecting to see her come out next week on Raw or SmackDown or something and like cut a promo on Becky, and then Becky comes out and she might come face to face with her in the ring.
I think it'd be a good idea. I think, it kind of stirs up the storyline. I know I've seen a lot of people criticizing, Lacey Evans and all this stuff, and she hasn't been in the ring and all. But if you look at the women's division, there's only about 2 or 3 right now that I would sit here and go, okay, they deserve a shot at the title.
I mean, yeah.
So, I mean, having it done this way, with Lacey Evans stepping in.
See, I don't mind it being Lacey Evans. I don't have a problem with it being Lacey Evans. It's just I'm not going to take her side because...
Well, you're a Becky Lynch fan.
I'm a Becky Lynch fan, and I'm going to, my man, Becky 2 belts. I'm behind her. You can be behind Lacey Evans. It's fine. But then in the end, we'll see who's right. And when it's me, I'll be the champion.
Well, I'm not saying I'm behind her. What I'm saying is she kind of fits the mold of potentially being a superstar.
She might very well. Well, that came out.
Again,
she very well might be.
We need to see what she can do in the ring.
I know some people, like, I have not gone back and watched any of her NXT stuff, but some people say that, like, it's not great. And so, I think it'll just, I don't know, if she's improved some, again, we'll just have to see. I'd like to see her put in a match, like a singles match, not with Becky, not with anybody, like just a singles match on Raw or SmackDown with one of the other women from the division and see how that goes first. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket if she's not going to do well.
Well, if she's not going to do well, they can always have Becky Lynch destroy her. I mean, if they feel that this isn't going to work out, they could always have Becky Lynch destroy her.
I mean, yeah, they can. They can 100% do that. I just think, like, it would help if we have seen her in the ring some before she gets put in this position where she gets like a title shot, because you know that's where they're going with it. But it's a matter of how much have we seen her in the ring.
Yeah, I agree.
And literally nobody is going to be behind her at all. Well, for one, because she's going up against Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch has like an army behind her right now. And two, she's not very credible if you haven't seen her wrestle in the ring before. We haven't seen her cut very many promos on TV. All we've seen her do is walk up and down the ramp.
Walk back. Yeah, I agree.
So it doesn't make her a credible challenger at this point, so they have to build it up. Now it's a matter of them building it up right. Sucker punching people doesn't prove a darn thing. I know, right, Violet? How are you doing? Good to see you.
Hello, Violet.
I agree, and like,
the thing
even
is,
then, she punched her in the face yesterday, and if you watched the video today, it was a forearm.
When you have someone that comes out and just shows up, doesn't do anything, you know, it gets under the... Obviously, it's done enough that people are sick of her. But people are talking about her.
Yeah, people
and that's
have been
the whole
sick of her
idea,
since she first started walking out.
The whole idea behind it is to get people to start talking about her. And so they've done that. So now they've created this villain.
They have.
Why is she going to get a shot at Becky Lynch? There's no way, you know, she doesn't stand a chance. Why does she get a shot? Well, now we'll see what she does in the ring. We'll see what she does, you know, how she does on the mic in front of like lots of people.
That's the thing.
And that's where we'll find out.
That's the one thing that we have to see now. Because nobody can take her seriously as a credible opponent right now if she doesn't do that.
Well, maybe not, but they've created enough storyline and enough buzz that people are talking about her. And obviously, you know, we've spent, you know, 5-10 minutes here talking about her now and talking about this whole thing.
Yeah, I know. That's all I'm saying, is they have to do something else with her aside from just have her walk up and down the ramp and then have her say, oh, I want an opportunity at your title or whatever. People are going to laugh in her face. Because she hasn't... It's going to be another situation of, oh, she's the golden girl who's handed everything. Because she will have been handed a title opportunity when she hasn't proven herself at all. She hasn't been in the ring. She hasn't done any promos on the mic, on TV. And so it's going to be a whole nother storyline.
What makes her a villain? Right now, what makes her a villain is the fact that she's going after Becky Lynch.
Yep.
That's enough to make her a villain.
Told you. Yep.
She's the heel in this.
Yep.
So, you know, I think that
that is 100% right.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's Becky Lynch, because Becky Lynch has an army behind her, because Becky Lynch has 2 belts. Becky 2 belts, people. Hashtag Becky 2 belts.
It is all she's ever done.
Becky and walking out is all she's ever done. That's what I'm saying.
But
so they can't give her a title opportunity right away, like right now. They have to keep building this up and have her get in the ring with other people that aren't Becky. Have her cut promos on Becky.
I think they
will.
They
have to have her do something other than that. That's all I'm saying. Is they have to go forward with that, doing that. And if they don't, it's another one of those things where it's going to be another situation of where she's handed everything and we're going to do that whole thing again. We just got rid of Charlotte.
I would like to think that that's what they're going to do. Is there's going to be match. Becky's going to have some matches. Lacey Evans is going to have some matches before they actually hook up and, you know, go at it. But they still
They will probably have a match at Money in the Bank. If Lacey Evans is not in the Money in the Bank match, then they will have a match at Money in the Bank for the championships.
Well, I think it might happen.
So that's what I'm putting out there right now. But she has to earn it first. And if she doesn't earn it, it's Vince's new favorite. That's all you can say about that. So next we have the main event of tonight on SmackDown. The New Day versus Drew McIntyre and the Bar in a 6-man tag match. Before the match even gets started, we have Sami Zayn who comes out. Why? Nobody knows. This is what he does now, apparently. And he comes out, the crowd is singing his song, you know, being all happy, you know, cheering for Sami Zayn, and Sami Zayn is just standing there, shaking his head. And he says, yeah, you're not worth it. He drops the mic and he walks backstage.
Not sure what the point was.
Okay.
You know what I thought was going to happen? I thought he was going to come out and he was just going to say, I'm going to bring out my 2 friends. And now this is going to be, there's going to be, 9 of us in the ring.
What's the point with Zayn? Don't know. They brought him back yesterday, and they are, like, I think they're going to do something big with him. I
thought tonight that they were going to bring him out, and he was going to bring out Daniel Bryan and Rowan. And they were going to walk to the ring, and they were going to have, I don't know what you'd call it.
Well,
a 9-man tag team match.
A 9-man tag match?
A fatal 3-way 9-man tag team match.
I have no idea, man. Is he in a contest with Elias now for who can insult the audience better? I mean, maybe. Maybe they have a backstage grudge thing.
Well, I mean,
who knows?
I thought that, thinking about it, I thought it was going to be, I thought that they were going to have him, like I said, team up with Daniel Bryan.
I did too. I said that yesterday.
So, I don't know.
I put that out there. And I find it very funny we didn't even see DB on tonight's show.
No. So then we have the match.
Ooh, maybe he gets moved to Raw.
He might.
And then goes for the Universal Championship.
He might.
Seth versus Bryan would be a pretty cool
solid
rivalry.
Match, yeah.
If they built it up correctly, it'd be a good rivalry. And that's what everything is.
That's one of the other things that I'm going to talk about after we're done here is
okay.
Kind of the fans and the way things are.
I don't know what you're going to say about. Oh, is it about? I think so. I think I know what you're going to talk about.
So the
Maybe not.
New Day gets the win.
It was a short match. It was like in the last 10 minutes of the show because they put the Becky segment on right before it. The Shane thing took up way too much time. They could have cut the Shane thing down by like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It didn't need to be that long. And then they could have had the Hardy Boys versus the Uso match, which could have been, a decent amount of time. And then you have the Becky thing. And then you still have time left for the main event at the end of the show. Because Becky came out at, like, 8:30-ish. And then she was there from, like, 8:30 to 8:45-ish.
Yeah.
And then you had the main event in 15 minutes.
Yep.
So it was like, I don't know. They normally do it longer. So I feel like the Shane thing took up a lot of time. Shane does not need that much time on TV, ever.
No.
So, I had a problem with that.
The Shane thing was pretty pointless, too, if you ask me. I don't think it was pointless. I think it lasted way too long.
Yeah, I will agree with that. I think
the whole idea of trying to... I mean, everybody knows he's a jerk, but I think the whole idea of trying to build him up as being even more of a jerk, I think is why the Miz is going to destroy him.
I said on Twitter, dude, this is all leading to a Mr. Miz versus Shane match. Just wait, I'm booking it right now.
The Miz is going to destroy him is what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to happen. Whether it's at Money in the Bank or if it is at SummerSlam, I don't know which, but he's going to destroy him.
Yeah. And I think that's where this is leading.
They should do a ladder match for the Best in the World trophy, and then whoever gets it is, like, best in the world.
Well, maybe the whole idea is to do something with the trophy since Shane is the one that kind of making a big deal out of it.
This Cruiserweight title match is...
lasting forever.
Well, never mind. Tony Nese is still the champion.
Tony Nese is still the Cruiserweight champion, by the way. For those of you that just joined us, Violet... We have the live 205 on the TV right now. We've been kind of giving updates on what's happening there.
Yeah.
So, I don't think making the Gouge of Christ stands up for beating up Mr. Miz. It was pointless. I agree. I agree the length of it was pointless. But the whole thing is to make Shane look like a jerk. So, yeah, that's where they're going.
They better be moving Buddy Murphy up to Raw or SmackDown. I'm telling you that right now. Move him off of 205 Live. Put him on the main show. That's where I'm going to end.
Yeah, we're giving live updates on 205 Live.
This is
as
ridiculous.
We're doing our stream here.
I don't understand why they took the belt off of him at WrestleMania if they weren't going to move him up.
Yes, I agree.
No clue whatsoever. Dumbest thing in the world.
Well, maybe
they better be moving him up.
Maybe they had this match for him to say his goodbye to 205 Live. You think?
They probably wouldn't do that.
He can't get much jerkier than beating up on an old man. I agree, but they're still building the storyline of him being the biggest jerk on the planet.
Wait. Old man? They're both old. Shane and Mr. Miz are both, like,
yeah,
old.
Probably like the same age. Or close to it.
Probably. And Shane said, Mr. Miz gave me this black eye.
Mr. Miz didn't even touch him.
I don't even think he touched him.
No.
He did this.
Yeah, that was it.
That's all he did. So did the imaginary fist, the third fist that we didn't, did that hit him in the face? Pretty sure it was the Miz. But,
Yeah.
Whatever.
So then we have the New Day gets the win. Then Kofi brings his kids and his wife into the ring and they celebrate.
I think it's cool that he's bringing these kids out.
Well, I think that what they're trying to do...
It adds to the storyline.
Yeah, I think they're trying to make it more personal and make people like him even more.
I am very... this is kind of suspicious because I feel like there was that kind of a look in Big E's eye that he was like, I don't know. Are they going to turn Big E on the New Day?
No, I don't think so. You can't. I don't think you... Not right now, anyway. Not with the way everything's going. I don't think you can do it. Especially after Big E gave his big, we love
you, Kofi speech.
Well, we love you, Kofi, but it's about time that someone... It's about time we get...
They better not.
Yeah, they better not, because I think with the speech he gave, and I think it was on Twitter... you know which one I'm talking about?
I think so. Right after the video?
Yeah, where he was talking about,
guys like us won't make it this far in this business, and this is why we are looking at all the options and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so...
after Kofi had, lost his opportunity at Fastlane. Yeah,
so I don't know, I don't think that they can turn him right now. Now, maybe down the road they do it, but as of right now, I don't think you can do it.
The other one that I've seen some wrestling news sites report is that Bayley might be turning heel. I'm trying to figure out what's happening with Sasha and Bayley because Sasha...
She's had some weird tweets out lately.
She has, and she was supposed to be on the Wendy Williams show, I believe, and she backed out due to personal reasons. And she didn't, specify anything, and so people on the show were kind of mad, and then, fans were kind of speculating whether or not it was storyline or if she actually had personal reasons as to why she shouldn't have been there or what the deal was, because yesterday she put up tweets talking about how we just need to go back to our roots and this, that, and the other thing. And so I'm trying to figure out what they're doing with them. But there have been some reports of Bayley potentially turning heel.
The ringside announcers kept mentioning how much things could change after next week.
Oh, well, the Superstar Shakeup is next week. And so that's what they're talking about. And, how anything, especially with the New Day, I know they talked about this a lot, was how things could really change. They could split the New Day up because anything is possible. So Kofi could get put on one brand, and Xavier Woods and Big E can get put on the other, or vice versa. So that's kind of what they're getting at, is the fact that a lot of things could change come next week.
Well, and I wonder if they're not doing some foreshadowing of some heel turns.
Too, yeah.
Because, like we said, we talked about Bayley and Sasha and what's happening with them. No one has a clue what's happening with them right now. I know that you look at...
Big changes are
coming. I mean, you look at, stuff they've posted on Twitter and things. It's kind of confusing as to where they're headed with that and how much of it is real and how much of it is, I mean, even you said, didn't you say someone, deleted Sasha Banks or blocked
Sasha? It was Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss blocked Sasha Banks on Twitter.
Yeah, and I don't know what was happening with that or what angle they were taking with that, but that was something that, was kind of weird that I thought.
So 13 hours ago, Sasha Banks put up a tweet. She said, due to personal reasons, I had to pull out of my appearance today on Wendy Williams. Sorry to everyone who was looking forward to it. Hopefully the opportunity will be there again later. And then it said, #if you only knew. Then yesterday, she put up a tweet and it says... There's something about the way life happens today that makes it hard to look ahead. There are things that make it difficult to laugh, difficult to live the way you want. There are things that make it almost impossible to trust where you are or to believe in where you want to be. You look around and life is happening way too fast. Sometimes it feels like the moments are gone. Everything happens all at once and right away. We're marching towards a destiny we cannot understand, towards the kingdom of convenient. Then one day you look up and you can't find the meaning. Your crisis of purpose and passion is acting up, but they tell you that that's supposed to be normal. Well, I don't want normal. I want magic, because that's the place that feels like home to me. That's the place where I remember what dreams look like, where meaning is effortless and purpose is simple. That's the place where love still matters. I want that feeling of coming home again. I want to feel like myself. I want that magic.
Yeah, so, I mean, who knows what's going on with that.
And then there was another tweet that she put up a picture of her feet and the Raw sign, and it says, if I were to start again, what would I do it any different? So...
yeah, so not sure where they're going with this storyline. If it's a storyline or if, like, she is really having, like, some issues.
Who knows? And there were like, reports a while back that Sasha Banks could be leaving because she's fed up with stuff backstage, and she's fed up with the WWE. So I don't know, like you said, I don't know if that's actually storyline stuff and they're going to go in a different direction with her, or if she's truly getting ready to leave. Possible.
Which could be why we're seeing Bayley by herself so much lately.
Could
after
be.
Losing the titles.
Yeah. Also could be why they might turn Bayley heel and have her, like, turn on Sasha or something to kind of end it out.
Might.
And then Sasha leaves.
Yes, could be.
So, I mean, I don't really know.
No.
So, odd tweets. And then, yeah, Alexa Bliss did block her on Twitter, and she took a screenshot of that. She said, "You scared?" ? Maybe we'll see a match with Sasha and Alexa next week, because Alexa did call both Sasha and Bayley out on Twitter after they lost their championship belts. So maybe we see Sasha versus Alexa next week, or we see them both against Alexa, and something happens there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
That's possible.
So we just have to see.
So here's my rant. I've been looking at Twitter. I've seen people complaining about WWE and their storylines and things like that, and how, like one I saw where how would you expect this person to beat that person?
About, like, what?
Well, and I don't even remember what the match was. But the whole idea was kind of like, Superstar Billy Graham throwing out there that Kofi Kingston could never beat,
Did you see that apparently he put up another tweet talking about how Kofi should use steroids and that Vince wouldn't care?
Yeah. So I don't, if you're a fan of wrestling, be a fan of wrestling. The storylines are there. I don't always agree with their storylines. I think some of their storylines are dumb. I think it's the way they
no matter what they're doing, it's just supposed to be entertainment.
It is entertainment. And, I've seen some people going and go, well, this is all fake and all this stuff, and matches are predetermined. Yes, there's no doubt matches are predetermined, but you go to a movie, it's already predetermined what's going to happen in the movie.
And if you're going to have that view on it, then why are you watching it in the first place?
But you still have an emotional investment to some extent in whatever's happening. Mm-hmm. And so, it's one of those things where if you're a fan, be a fan, and you can criticize them, criticize what's happening, but don't sit here and talk about, well, this is trash and I'll never watch it again and all this stuff. Like I said, I don't agree with the storylines, a lot of the storylines that WWE has right now. But I think that one of the issues they have is there's no other brand that is really challenging them to make them step up their game.
And AEW sure isn't doing it right now because they don't
until there's someone that steps up and makes them change the way they're doing things.
They're going to continue doing it the way they were.
I don't think that they will. Every time I hear somebody say Superstar Billy Graham, I think of it. Yeah, that's funny. Until they get someone to step up and challenge them, at least make them think, and I think AEW has a shot if they can get a TV deal. They could at least throw out there that, hey, we have good storylines, and from what I've seen, AEW does have some good storylines going, and they haven't even put up.
Sorry to interrupt you. Carry on.
They haven't even put up. They haven't even put out a show yet. and they've already got some storylines out there that are solid, and they're leading somewhere.
Yeah.
WWE right now, a lot of their storylines, well, you don't know where their storylines are going.
Well, and it also doesn't help, especially right now. We just came off of WrestleMania, so they have to build new stuff up. Which is what I don't understand, like, of people complaining, at least right now, complaining about storylines and this, that, and the other thing. I get it. Some storylines leading up to WrestleMania didn't make a lot of sense. Now, coming out of WrestleMania, everything that they had laid out is now played out. And you have to come up with something new to move forward.
Well, I saw people complain about, like, Raw last night. Overall, I didn't think it was a bad Raw.
I didn't either.
There was some stuff on there that didn't make a lot of sense to me.
The bar
thing
really
didn't make
just
sense.
the end.
But if they find a way to tie it into somehow making a storyline out of it and turning into, something other than just the bar coming out, then, maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the road, we sit here and we go, oh, that's why they came out during that match.
Things leading up to me still don't make any sense. I get
there are
that.
a lot of stuff.
That's what I just said. I said some things leading up to WrestleMania didn't make a lot of sense, and I understand that. But those things that they had lined up that didn't make a lot of sense have now played out. And so if people are going to start complaining about storylines once again and how none of the storylines right now make any sense, that's because they're building them up.
Well,
they just came out of a pay-per-view, the biggest pay-per-view of the year for them, and they had everything built up to that is now done. So now they have to close that book, open a new one. All right, Becky's your double champ. Now we got to come up with somebody who's going to be your first challenger. How are we going to do that? Who's going to do that? When are we going to do that?
I think
they have to figure it out.
One of the issues they have is the fact that they have, like, all these fatal three-way matches or six-man tag team matches or fatal four-ways, or it's triple threat, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Triple threat match, whatever you want to call it. They have all those matches for what? They don't do anything. They don't help with the storyline. They don't help with anything. And people just get lost in it. And when you do it over and over again, people start to get sick of it.
Yeah.
Go back to basic one-on-one tag team matches.
When is the last time we saw a one-on-one match on Raw or SmackDown? Okay, well, that's actually a lie because we actually did see a one-on-one match yesterday.
Well, you usually see
one. We saw Finn Balor versus Sami Zayn.
Generally, I think every SmackDown or Raw, we see either one one-on-one or one tag team, don't we? I mean, tonight we saw a tag team.
We saw two tag teams, but there wasn't a singles match yet. There were two six-man tag matches.
So to create your storylines, I think you need to start doing that. But to create your storylines, you do something like, well, even, this thing they're doing with Lacey Evans. They're creating a storyline here. Now, do I expect them to wrestle every week? No, I don't. Because I think if they did that, you burn people out on it. And, you kind of turn people off to the whole storyline.
Yeah.
So from here on, I think what they need to do is put them in matches.
But not against each other.
And have them talk trash to each other. And build this up. Obviously, they're building this up on Twitter.
Obviously. At least Lacey Evans is as of right now. Becky Lynch hasn't said anything yet, but I'm expecting her to in the next day or so, and it's going to be good.
So you build this up and see where it goes from there. But like I said, the big thing is if they did everything the fans wanted, people would get sick of wrestling. They would get totally sick of wrestling. Because there's no surprise, there's no shock, there's no, oh, wow, that happened. There's none of that.
Yeah.
And so, when we sit here and we talk about this, I think that, people need to take a step back and realize that they are creating storylines.
Yeah.
And that, hopefully people are paying attention and WWE's paying attention to what's going on.
Yeah.
But you got to let it work out and not get so upset about things.
I don't understand why people were upset with Raw. The only bad thing on there that I would say that was a mark was the Bar ending the Kofi and Seth match. That's it. Yeah. The rest of the show was fine, and it was all good and dandy. The other thing I saw people talking about was, oh, well, the ratings on this show for being after WrestleMania has like 1 million less views than last year's Raw after WrestleMania. I get it, ratings are important, but to the average viewer, nobody cares.
Well, the ratings are important, but I think the ratings are going to drop just because there's so many other things for people to do.
Yeah. And like I said, to the average person, the ratings don't matter. So nobody cares about the ratings, okay?
Well, they don't.
To, like, the businessy people and the people that run, like, wrestling websites and stuff, and, you know, to somebody like us who did, like, podcasts or whatever, it would be important to them. But to the average person, nobody cares if it was 1 million viewers less than last year's WrestleMania.
No.
Or the last year's Raw after WrestleMania.
Nope.
So when people get on Twitter and complain about that, I just kind of, laugh. Because in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter to anybody except WWE.
Yeah.
So why are people complaining about it?
Yep.
I don't get it.
I don't either.
And then you get me sitting here complaining about people complaining about it.
Yep.
Because it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't. And that's why, you know...
Because it doesn't matter to the average person. The only person it matters to is WWE.
Fans need to be fans, and they need to understand that, you know, be a fan, criticize what's happening, but don't talk about it being trash and all this stuff, because I think that... and talk about how you're never going to watch it again.
Well, you criticize it, but you criticize it in, like, a decent, not Mr. Nicey Nice way, but, like, you know, in a...
Well, I've talked about storylines not being
respective
good.
sort of way.
I mean,
You don't, like,
storylines
sit
have
here
been
and
good.
trash it and say, like, oh, I'm never going to watch this again, or I'm never going to do this, or I'm never going to do that. Like, no, you just say, you know, all right, well, they should work this out better, and it would make more sense if you did this than this.
But the thing
and so they should work towards going in that direction, but they're not going to.
The thing I don't get upset about is, like, the results of matches.
I don't get upset about the results of matches. I pick who I want to pick, and then I'm normally wrong. And I live with it.
But if Becky Lynch would have lost, you would have, like, been
Oh,
upset
I would have...
because-
No, if she lost at WrestleMania, I would have... There would have been no Maven on...
Yeah, see, so...
on the stream. So, I mean, I did care about that match,
The point is, see, so you got emotionally invested, but the thing is, you went to the point where you would have said, okay, she didn't win, so therefore I'm going to go pout and be, like, all sulky and stuff.
Yeah, I would have been upset if she didn't win that match.
You know, again, it's all part of the show, and it's all part of...
It's part of drawing you in, and like you said, getting you emotionally invested. I'm emotionally invested in everything that Becky Lynch does ever. So, like...
They gave the fans almost everything they wanted at WrestleMania.
They gave them Kofi, they gave them Seth, they gave them... About the only thing they didn't give them is Baron Corbin not wrestling Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I mean, outside of that, I mean, they just about gave you everything that's wanted.
They gave you the 3 big things that were, like, most important. Were Becky winning,
And
were
so,
Seth
but,
winning,
you
and
know,
Kofi winning.
I've seen, you know, fans complain about things, so I just... You know, the whole idea behind wrestling, the cool thing about wrestling is it's a storyline. And
it's like any other
like
TV
I said,
show.
I agree that right now some of the storylines they'd use are pretty not real good.
Pretty not real good.
And where they're going with them, I don't know. But they need to work on resolutions, I agree. And some of the things they need to do is, you know, have the shock value happen in there.
And they did that. Like the week before WrestleMania, they had Charlotte win the Smackdown Championship.
Yeah.
We would have never had the Smackdown Championship put in there if they hadn't come up with that the day of and said, all right, we're going to take the belt off of Asuka because nobody wants to see an Asuka versus Mandy Rose match at WrestleMania.
Well, they had to do it. It wasn't about the Asuka versus Mandy Rose. It was about
it was also giving Charlotte
in,
credibility as to why she was put in that match.
Yeah.
I think that might have been the majority of it, but nobody would have wanted to see Asuka versus Mandy Rose at WrestleMania with Mandy Rose winning.
No.
I wouldn't have wanted to see it. You wouldn't have wanted to see it. 99.9% of fans wouldn't have wanted to see it because it makes Asuka look incredibly bad and people really like Asuka.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was a good thing that they took the belt off of her and put it on Charlotte. It helped Charlotte and it helped Asuka in the long run.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I know a lot of people weren't happy when they took the belt off of Asuka.
No.
But in the long run, looking at it with what they were going to do, it's better the way they did it.
Yeah, probably.
Because it would have made Asuka look terribly bad.
Well, I agree. I think that...
And it wouldn't have been good.
No.
So it helped it helped Charlotte, and it didn't hurt Asuka in the long run.
No.
So there you go, people.
I think that, now that I'm done ranting...
The one other thing I did want to mention that we didn't talk about before because I didn't actually write it down in my notes, there was another Bray Wyatt weird, creepy dinosaur thing in a box video. They're going to bring it back. It's totally Bray Wyatt. There was laughing in it, and it's 100% Bray Wyatt.
Yeah.
Because the laugh, it was just like Bray Wyatt's with his kind of thing.
I agree.
Creepy man in a chair.
It is Bray Wyatt.
It is Bray Wyatt, and he's going to come back.
He's going to do something starting soon. Or sometime like around the next pay-per-view or something. I don't know.
If he doesn't show up at Money in the Bank, maybe he... this is advanced booking. But Money in the Bank. And he shows up at Money in the Bank. The lights go dark. He shows up, and he likes Sister Abigail's, the WWE champion, Kofi, or whoever. And then it ends the match, and then he starts a feud with Kofi?
Yeah.
Or Seth? Or somebody? Someone who's the champion?
Yep.
For all we know, he could go out there and Sister Abigail Becky Lynch, and then he'd start a rivalry with Becky Lynch, Yeah. So, that's kind of where I see that going, and then you have SummerSlam where Bray Wyatt, maybe wins the championship or something.
They might.
That'd be interesting. It'd be different. It'd be something people would not be expecting.
No.
Putting him in the championship spot right away. Well, I mean, they did that with Kevin Owens, so, I mean, people would expect that. But him winning the championship, I don't think people would expect. Because Bray Wyatt doesn't hit you as the, I'm a champion type of guy.
No, he doesn't. I mean, that's, I mean, he's not a huge, I don't think, championship guy. I think he's just more of a creepy, I'm going to destroy you type person.
Yeah.
Not I'm a creepy, going to destroy you championship type person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and it's storylines like that they could make cool if they do it the right way.
Yeah.
We are going to be looking to, sometime here in the next couple weeks, working on throwing out a podcast as well as doing our regular show here, and the possibility of streaming on some other platforms. We do have a website. We don't have a lot up on it right now, called thewrestlestory.com. But we are looking to do some things with that. So, check it out.
We'll be back tomorrow.
Let us know what you think about ideas for the channel, for things in general, things you would like to see us talk about.
That being said, we'll be back tomorrow for NXT.
Yes.
And then at the end of the week, I think, right before Raw or SmackDown, whether that's this weekend or Friday or whatever, we will pop on here to do a who we think should go where for the Superstar Shakeup.
Yeah.
Stream. And if we have any news or anything, we'll share that on that too, and it'll be a little extra stream this week.
Send us your thoughts on the shakeup.
Yeah, let us know your thoughts.
You ever have thoughts, put it in the comments.
Let us know who you think should go where. You can put them on here in the comments, or you can always find us on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm at Mr._Gleen.
Shoot me your ideas. I'm on Twitter all the time.
I'm at the Wrestle. Also, for us, we are at the Wrestle Story.
And I'm at Maven Gleen.
And she's at Maven Gleen.
And so you guys can send us your who you think should go where.
See you, Violet.
Through Twitter, or whatever.
Again, let us know your thoughts on any ideas that you may have for the channel and things that we are looking at doing to expand what we're working on here. Again, we stream every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday. I'm going to get used to this, every Tuesday after SmackDown.
And then it's going to switch to
Friday.
We stream every Monday after Raw, every Friday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT. Then they got to put something on Tuesday.
That's when they're going to put the hour-long show that they're doing on FS1.
Now
anyway, back to what I was saying.
Thursday, then we can stream every day of the week,
Yeah. Every Monday after Raw, every Tuesday after SmackDown, every Wednesday after NXT, after every pay-per-view. And again, we throw in special shows every now and then. So that's why you need to make sure that you subscribe, hit the little bell button so you know when we do go live. Follow us on Twitter because we will have a tweet, and make sure you have notifications turned on so then you know when we tweet and we go live for sure.
Yes.
Outside of that, I think that we are out of here.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow.
Peace out.
NXT.